Well, we hit Master 1 just in time, like the day of Duelist Cup Stage 2. So that gives us time, or let me just focus on Stage 2. And so, in the meantime, here's the deck I used to get to Master 1. Yes, it is Marincess. If you're wondering why, I don't know. I'm a sick man. Okay, you can just tell by looking at this deck list that this is a war crime build right here. So immediately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 18 hand traps in the main. And the idea of this is Marincess needs to draw hand traps to win, right? My engine puts up 1, maybe 2 interruptions if I'm lucky. The rest of it I have to hard draw, right? And the deck is really strong in follow up, since with Coral Enemy, with Pascalis adding a Marincess spell track from the grave, and with Coral Triangle being the Soul Charge, I have like 3 forms of just insane follow up. So if I get to turn 3, you win the game right there, and the game's over. However, the problem is, if you don't have enough interruptions to shove your opponent, they'll just kill you, and you don't get to game 3, or you don't get to turn 3. That's why I still like running hand traps over any form of like board breaker, such as stuff like thrust, and then all the thrust targets like Herald and Evenly, or the Lightning Storm or Duster, all that stuff. That stuff is not helpful when you go first. So like if you just full combo off, and then you end on your 1 or 2 monsters, and then you have a board breaker in hand. Well, that's not gonna help you from that's not gonna help you staying alive. It's actually just a dead card unless it makes it back to your turn, in which case you don't need it anyways, because I mentioned the follow up, so great. Now the problem with wanting to run a lot of hand traps is that not every hand trap is good against every deck. The meta is diverse enough to where you're gonna have hand traps that are blowouts amazing against some decks and then useless against other decks. So like basically after Max C, Ash, and Infinite Impermanence, it gets a bit dicey. You have Droll, which is great against Pearly players that play into it, but it's useless against Lab, and it's like 50-50 versus Cash. You have Nibiru, which is FTK against Kashtira, but it's largely useless against Lab, and even Pearly, it's like not something you want to do. It doesn't really advance your game state that much versus Pearly. And then you have Ghost Spell, which is literally an inclusion just for Labrynth, because if you notice, the only good hand trap out of the 18 here, like that's good against Lab, is Ash Blossom. So I just put in Ghost Spell as more coverage. And the idea is, at least against every deck, you're gonna have at least 2, if not 3, good hand traps against them. So just by brute forcing and quantity over quality, hopefully you'll run enough hand traps to where you'll be able to see the right one versus the right decks. We have 6 good cards against Lab, right? You have Infirm, Maxi, Ash Blossom, which is good against every deck besides Lab, and then you have like 1 extra hand trap that's like a blowout against certain matchups, like Dragon Link, Droll, Pearly Droll, Cash, Nib, Pendulum, Valence, Nib, stuff like that, Now onto the actual Marincess part of the deck. So there's another issue with Marincess in that this is a format where, because of the existence of a Rise Heart and Expertly Gnar, which is effectively a Towers that's better than the Towers you can make, people are running outs to just huge unaffected monsters in their deck. You have Kaijus in people's deck, which is quite common. You have Herald of the Abyss, which is it's an out to unaffected monsters. And with the banning of Toad, the strongest thing that Marincess could do post Toad was basically make an Awkward Argonaut that's unaffected with Crystal Heart and a Battle Ocean up. So it's like a pseudo tower. It's like an adding mixer. The problem is if you put all your eggs into that basket, you're just basically playing like a Rise Hard pass that's less oppressive, but that also we're just gonna randomly run outs to in their deck, and it's gonna feel even worse. It's not like they can't play through this, but like they don't. If they just have the out, if they just have the one card to neutralize it, it's like what? They don't even need to play through it. So it's just. And then the other issue with it's if they get rid of your Towers monster, they get rid of your Link 4. Marincess Wave is dead because you need to control a Marincess Link monster for you to get the monster negate. Even if you set it right, you still need to control a Link monster. And if they just get rid of your Link monster, even if you need to control Link 3 or higher Marincess monster for you to be able to use it from hand, but even if you just try to set it to play around that, it doesn't matter if you just get rid of your Link monster anyways. This is still a dead card. So in order to mitigate that, I'm playing this deck in a different way. You notice I'm not running Marincess Crystal Heart, so I'm not even going for the unaffected combo. Instead, my ideal goal is, and I'll show you in the replays, that you're doing combos to where you're not ending on one single Link monster. You're ending on 2. You're often ending on, usually, Marincess Great Bubble Reef times 2, if you can. If not, at least Bubble Reef plus another Link 3, such as Coral Triangle or Marble Rock. Not Marble. If you can make Marble Rock, you can make a second Great Bubble Reef. So either double Bubble Reef or Bubble Reef plus Coral Triangle. That way, if they have a Kaiju or a Hero of the Abyss, at the very least, you'll still control a Link 3 or higher Marincess monster, regardless of whichever one they kill, which lets you use Wave, which lets you make your monster unaffected, and hopefully you can live to the next turn, which is the goal. Basically the goal of the deck when it goes first, live to turn 3. Now, we don't talk about Lava Golem, we just pretend that card doesn't exist. If you don't mention Lava Golem, it can't hurt you. And to be fair, I have not gotten Lava Golem in like weeks. That appears to be the least common of the tribute negates, as compared to like, you know, say the thrust targets like Hero and Kaijus and Kurakara, which is also another nightmare. But you know, we can't play around everything, right? For the actual monster lineup, it's mostly standard. Blue Tang is the MBT. It's the best starter because it's the only card that's gives you 2 bodies by itself with whatever it dumps, which is going to be like one of these 3. Mandarin is an extender from the grave. Seahorse is an extender from the hand. Spring Girl is an extender from the hand, and it banishes the monster, which is really important because you want to banish as high of a link rating as possible with Spring Girl. That way, you get a better revive target off Bubble Reef. Since Bubble Reef, its other effect, you send one water monster. It's a Heat Soul, but you also send a water monster to special summon a banished water monster, which is usually what you banish off Spring Girl. So synergy right there. And Spring Girl is the only extender that doesn't require you to also control a Marincess monster, that and dive. So it's helpful for playing around removal and stuff like that. And Pascalis is like just, it's a marauding captain. I don't know what the kids these days use, what card they reference to for this type of card, but basically you just normal this and then or not normal, this gets summoned, you special summon Marincess monster from your hand. That's it. With these are the core Marincess cards. Right now, there's one more, Sleepy Maiden, which I used to run. The idea of this is, this lets you attach and equip to Aqua Argonaut, even if you don't control Battle Ocean. That way you get just a spell trap negate. That play is not viable this format because Marincess Aqua Argonaut without Battle Ocean up only has 2300 attack, and guess what has 2400 attack? This card called Kashtira Pendulum, which is in like 80% of decks. And then against the Kashtira deck itself, they also have, you know, this card called Kashtira Unicorn, which is special summons it as a 2500. So going for the Aqua Argonaut play without Battle Ocean, it's just not a smart move anymore since it gets run over by everything. So because of that, I cut this card. This card, it's an extender, but it's not a starter. Every one of these Marincess monsters is a 1-card starter. Every normal summon Marincess monster can get you at least a Link 4. This is a level 5 monster, you can't normal summon it, so it's not a starter. And if the play it facilitates isn't worth going for, I just cut it for deck space. And then 2 Dive and Battle Ocean, since Dive is it is also not a starter, so you don't want to open with this, you just want to search it and then have one in the deck as follow-up later. And then the rest, fill out the deck, I still run 2 Silent Mining. A lot of people don't like this card, which I understand, but I need to access Spring Girl. If you don't access Spring Girl, then you literally lose the trap hole. It's so bad. So at the very least, I don't really use it as a consistency tool, but a lot of times going second, it helps extend, which is a weird way to think about Silent Mining as an extender, not a starter, but that's how that's at its most effective, is being used like that. And the extra deck, 2 of everything, so 2 of all the important ones, 2 Blue Slug, which adds from Grave, that's a Marincess monster from Grave, so you can add like a Seahorse back and special summon it. Sea Angel searches these cards. Coral Enemy is just a free revival, so you need to run 2 of these, each of these, so Unicorn doesn't ruin your life. Splash Mage is literally just to facilitate. When you only have a 1 Marincess monster, it facilitates a 1 card Link 4, and it also facilitates the double Great Bubble Reef, since it gets you just a free Link material afterwards, but it's the one you care the least about them ripping, honestly. That and Area. Area is just here since I run Nibiru, so sometimes it's nice to link off. And you'll see if your opponent has a water monster, Nibiru token plus like a random Marincess monster that got negated is still full combo. Funny enough, but this also comes up not too often, and you could like cut this for anything, honestly. This is probably the least important one. Marble Rock is it keeps you from dying, it blocks attack basically, but the most important thing is it adds any Marincess card from your grave to your hand, so it helps you hand size to discard for a Great Bubble Reef. And then Coral Triangle adds Marincess Wave, which is the best form of disruption in the deck. It makes all your monsters towers, and it's a monster negate, and in follow-up turns, this is Soul Charge, you just bring back 3 link levels of a link rating of 3 of link monsters from your grave, so you can revive back a Coral Enemy and a Sea Angel right there as follow-up, and that's way more than a full combo to kill your opponent. Again, the double Bubble Reef, since this helps facilitates making double Link 4 or Link 4 plus Link 3 to play around the Kaiju, so that wave is live more often. And it gets really big, since it has this Rise Heart thing where it's mandatory every time a monster is banished, it gains 600 for the whole turn. So I've gone Bubble Reef to double 5k without a Battle Ocean on the field. And double 5k monster towers is quite hard to out if you don't have a Lava Golem. At Aqua Argonaut, I don't go into this as often anymore since I'm scared of Kaijus, but it does come up, and sometimes you can make both Link 4s, which then that's like a really cracked hand. And then Zealantis is the access code of the deck, right? Since this deck can't make access code since it water locks, Zealantis takes advantage of the fact that it water locks by banishing every monster in the field, and then you special back the banished monsters, and since you're waterlocked, none of your opponent's non-water monsters get summoned back, but you get all your monsters back, so it's a board wipe that way, and it pops stuff during the battle phase, so it's like an axe coding where it banishes the monsters and then it pops spell and trap. And obviously it helps go for a game because it always clears the board. And that's why I run 2. Because if you run 1 and you Ash Unicorn, you're never seeing the Zealantis. It's gone. It's rip. So that you gotta run 2 for the times where you have to like Droll or Ash a Unicorn or Maxi a Unicorn. You always want access to this. This is like the best card in your deck for turns 2 onwards. And I guess the best way to understand what I'm trying to do with this deck is by seeing actual gameplay. So let's get to that. So, like I mentioned, this is sort of what you want to go for if you have a hand with this many Marincess names. such as see, I have a blue MBT plus 2 other names, so this is enough to do the full combo I'm trying to go for. So we do the Sea Angel at 3, and we get a Battle Ocean, which is nice. It's not an extender, but it's just a nice bonus to have. And then special Spring Girl, banishing the NBT, going to Coral Anemone. And I just always equip Battle Ocean just to be safe, even though it takes a long time. If you're lazy, you don't have to use Battle Ocean. Of course, to make the Coral Triangle, Coral Anemone will add back the Spring Girl. And then Coral Triangle will dump the Spring Girl to add the Marincess Wave. That's really important. Then dive, because we have Ocean on the field. We can summon Pascalis from deck, and then Pascalis effect can special summon Seahorse. We haven't used Blue Slug yet, so Blue Slug can add back the Seahorse. We still haven't used special summon the Seahorse of its own effect. And then the Mandarin that we send with NBT can revive itself. Going to Coral, normally I can't make Aqua Argonaut since I need the Great Bubble Reef's special summon effect as an extra extender. But here, since we open both Battle Ocean and have extra extenders, I can actually put this up as one of the Link 4s. So next, the remaining 2 go into Splash Mage, bring back Spring Girl, go into Marble Rock. Marble Rock will add back Spring Girl in hand just for follow up, and special summon Seahorse. And this is the sort of the end board we go for. Usually it's Bubble Reef instead of Aqua Argonaut, but in general it's just a Link 4 on top and at least a Link 3 on bottom. Oftentimes you can get double Link 4. This way, this plays around a singular Kaiju. It plays around Herald of the Abyss to the point where you don't even have to worry about it. And they need to use Herald because once Marincess Wave resolves, both of these are unaffected for the turn. So other stuff like Raigeki, and since we have Aqua Argonaut odd, we also have a Spell Trap Mate, so if they have an additional thrust target, or if we just want a negative thrust, we can do that too. And obviously we get the draw from Great Bubble Reef as well. Draw into Max Seat, just, you know, sometimes you're just good at this game. Except our opponent's playing Labrynth, so Max Seat actually does squat. They are running Dogmatica cards though, so that gives us more things to wave, and more things to negate with Aqua Argonaut. Because the rough thing is, the roughest thing is when they set 5, because then Aqua Argonaut can only negate on my opponent's turn. So if they could just set 5, and then it goes past my turn, then they flip traps, but I can't negate it, and we're in for a grind after that. Even though we have lots of follow-up, we have the Pascalis follow-up in the grave, we have the Coral Triangle in the grave as follow-up, and obviously we're gonna draw more cards off Bubble Reef, but, you know, it's a grind game. But instead, they activate a Deer Servant, and we can just negate that. So now they're down to 3 cards versus our 2 Giant Towers. And they're just giving it up right now, because at that point, even if you're Lab, I don't think they can outgrind like my infinite card advantage after that. So this game will show a more common setup that I go for. It involves having basically the equivalent of 4 names, 4 bodies you can special summon. So Blue Tang plus Seahorse is 3 names right now, because Seahorse is 1. Think of it counting like this: Seahorse is 1 body, and Blue Tang is itself a body, and it sends a body to add back with Blue Slug. So that's 3 bodies. And then if Marincess Blue Tang adds another name, any other name, that's your 4th body. And we add Pascalis. So there, this fulfills the requirements. Since we have all these bodies now, we could just special summon them to the field and get your effects going. Get the Marincess dive, go into Coral Anemone. Anemone will bring back anything really. Go into Coral Triangle, get back any monster, and then ditch that monster. Or this time I can ditch it doesn't really matter, as I'll explain later. But you can actually ditch Pascalis, and that'll be important later. So Bubble Reef, we have to go Bubble Reef, and then Marincess dive, bring back Pascalis. Pascalis can special summon from the hand, because we special summon from grave with dive. We could just special summon a name from our hand. Go into Marble Rock, and then Marble Rock effect will add back the Seahorse, and then the add back from Marble Rock we can ditch with Marincess Bubble Reef to get back and banish monster, we banish off Spring Girl, and then we can summon the second Bubble Reef. This is the most common setup. This is basically Pearly at home. There, my opponent's standby phase. I draw 2 cards. Also, I waste. This is also like Kashtira. So I'm wasting. You waste a lot of time waiting for your Marincess Bubble Reefs to mandatory gain attack. And then, so you draw 2 cards, and I'm just gonna Call by the Grave that Pathfinder right there. This is pretty much the only thing Call by the Grave is good against Kashtira besides Handtraps. And mandatory gain life, mandatory gain attack. How does it feel? How does it feel to be on the other side of a Rise Heart? So anyway, our opponent's gonna draw 2 cards. Because their hands are really bricked up. They don't even want to take the Bubble Reef to crash. They're gonna summon an Ogre to add preparation. This is why I don't run Ogre, because what does that accomplish really? Special Rise Heart cross-out designator for the Unicorn. Mandatory gain attack, Marincess or Rise Heart over here, up to 5k each. And they're gonna banish whatever. You revealed every 3 of in my deck. Take your pick. Kashtira Feals's gets banished. Feals's adds stack the Unicorn, but the Unicorn's negated, so cool. Going to Big Eye, and I'm not even gonna use Marincess Wave, because you use Cross-Out Designator, so you have no outlet in Infirm anyway, so I'm just gonna Infirm the Big Eye. And yeah. If you had a Kaiju, if they had a Herald of the Abyss, I would have played around it too. So this is why I go for double Link 4. And also, funny enough, plays around Cyber Dragon Contact Fusion into a Chimeric Mega Fleet, since it only takes away the one in the EMZ, but I get to keep the one in the main monster zone still. Okay, now they all go back, and my turn. We're gonna draw 2 again. So you draw 2, and you have you have 2 unaffected cards. So literally just Pearly at home, plus a Rise Heart at home, mandatory effect, wasting everyone's time, like wasting 2 minutes out of everyone's time every duel. Gotta love it. So obviously, with the nature of the deck, you're gonna get a lot of games where you go second and that look like this. So we open Ash, Nibiru, Infirm, 3 Handtraps. Okay, and our opponent's playing Kashtira. Excellent. Perfect. E-Telly. Oh, they're playing Kashtira Punk. Even better. Get Sharakuzai out. Xiamen. Going to Baron. You see, you think you're safe from the Nibiru. You think that, but you're not playing. You're not ready for playing it against a deck with 18 Handtraps. And a side note, Punk is like one of the few like good matchups that this deck has, since it's essentially you're playing like the same deck. You're just playing 1-card combos with tons of Handtraps and non-engine. The issue is that Marincess can actually run much more non-engine than the Punk deck can. So in that battle, the Marincess wins out because Marincess just has more non-engine to deal with their 1-card starters than they have to deal with Marincess 1-card starters. And this is a misplay. I should have Nibiru'd on summon. I for some reason let him get all the way to Deer Note. As you'll see later, Nibiru, Infirm, Classic, by field. And this will cause them to trigger Deer Note to revive the Wagon, so that I kind of just ashed it, because if they had Maxi, this would be bad. But they don't have Maxi, so never punished. So 3 Handtraps guaranteed will stop any deck in the game. And normal summon Spring Girl gets Infirmed, which is completely fine. And since that was just bait, we can dive back the Spring Girl anyways, and then go into Sea Angel, which will get our Battle Ocean. I don't know why I triggered Spring Girl to play around Ash or something. Anyway, activate Battle Ocean. Here we're going to... This is the minimal amount of extenders that we have. Okay, this is literally just basically the equivalent of 1 Spring Girl. Since we already opened Dive, so we couldn't... When we made Sea Angel, it's not like you could add an additional extender with dive since you already used it. It's a hard once per turn. So we just get a Battle Ocean, which is just a buff for our guys, but doesn't help with the extension. And Core Enemy will add back Spring Girl. And then equip 2, add Pascala's back. Special Spring Girl, banish Core Enemy, go into Great Bubble Reef, and this is the classic Zealantis line. So equip everything, Marincess Great Bubble Reef, bring back Core Enemy, go into Zealantis. We actually, because this Nibiru is on the field, we don't actually need to banish everything, because this Nibiru won't come back because I'm waterlocked. So what you can actually do is use the other effect of Zealantis, go into battle phase, effect Hop 2. And then since they're playing Punk, they already lost like a third of their life points, so this is just game. So not often you see Marincess be able to OTK, unless you have like 4 Marincess cards in your hand, but you know, when your opponent does like the half the job for you, it gets a lot easier. So this is actually a great duel, one of the best I have with this deck, that ends on some unfortunate misplays on both sides. You know, that's just a new experience. You play perfect for 90% of the game, and then you mess up once, and you get punished for it. So I'll show you. You'll see what happens later. I ash the Foxy Tune, since that way you don't get punished by them hard drawing Foxy Tune anyways. And yeah, that sets they set to. Now here's the problem from Marincess. Okay, I'm gonna normal summon Spring Girl, and I'm just gonna ash their Max Seed. No way that's resolving. And then they're gonna use the equivalent of Trap Hole. Okay, so they're gonna Trap Hole my Spring Girl, and I pass. Yeah, that's yeah, this deck kinda loses the Trap Hole if you don't have access to another Spring Girl. That's why I'm still on Cyanide Mining when everyone else is like dropping it, because I just need more copies of this damn card in my hand. Okay, if I had a second one, I could have full comboed it. Now if I only had one and nothing else, I hard pass. Now they're gonna do this again. Add Sharakusai, activates effect. I'm gonna Max C. Then they're gonna Ash, and I'm gonna cross the designator the Ash, and they're gonna call by the Maxi. This is just classic Punk versus Marincess. You got a chain link 4 with 3 of the cards being non-engine. So unfortunately for our opponent, right? We have this last card in hand called Nibiru the Primal Being. So they're gonna activate Extreme Session, get the Jam Dragon Drive, bring back the Punk, and then I'm waiting for them to special summon the damn spider they had in their hand, and then special Nibiru. Here's the problem. That might have been a misplay, because this Nibiru is too thick, and all I have is Nibiru. So if I don't draw a Marincess monster, I just kind of lose, because then I lose to my own Nibiru token because it's too big. You should have probably Nibiru earlier, so that at least you could have run over the token, so you don't auto lose the next turn. But never punished. Spring Girl, always there when you need it. Normal summon Blue Slug, and it gets impermed. So here's the funniest interaction This is the first time area. I've been playing this deck for like 5 months. This is the first time area the Water Charmer has come up to help me combo, and not just to link off like a damn Nibiru to make like everything I have water. So you're probably wondering what is a water monster in Punk? Oh yeah, the fish, the rising card. Okay, so now we can make Core Enemy, and the Nibiru token, the Nibiru plus my Infern monster gets me full combo, because it lets me make Core Enemy. Add Battle Ocean. I don't have enough extenders to do anything with it, so Marble Rock will add back Spring Girl, and I lost my mind. I'm like, look at the play I do. Okay, add back Spring Girl. Special Spring Girl, okay? Go into Bubble Reef. Bubble Reef, bring back summon those 3, and then bring back Core Enemy. Okay? So I had two options, right? I could link off into Zealantis. That way I could pop the jam sessions as well. Or I could have gone into, if I wasn't going to deal with the extreme jam sessions, I could go into Aqua Argonaut and end on a negate. Instead, I make Great Bubble Reef, get back Core Anemone, and don't make Zealantis. So, now not only do I not kill the field spell, but I also don't have an interruption for my opponent's turn. And obviously I don't kill my opponent, because they were only at 5k. I'm sure there was a line that I could have done. So instead, I opted to go for a random draw 1, which gets Ogre. That is like literally the worst punish in the world. That is like top deck Ogre, that just ruins my life. Okay, so now I lost my protection, and I add a Pascal, which is not an interruption. Our opponent draws Liam and flips the Jam Session still on the field. So now they have full combo, and I'm thinking I lost, and I definitely should have lost. Except our opponent goes Draco Berserker and brings back the Jam Dragon Drive. Now if they made Pep, if they just made Pep, enter battle phase, boost, don't attack over my current enemy, and then pass to my turn, I have no outs to that. Because then I can't deal with it, they're at lower life, and if I enter battle phase trying to crash and lower my life, the Pep would be at like over like 14k, I'd be dead. Instead they make Draco Berserker with 10e, and they attack. And they didn't realize that this can only make a second attack on monsters. So, yeah, unfortunately that means I live and all they have is a Draco Berserker. And this Draco Berserker does nothing to a hand of 3 Marincess monsters. It's just not gonna do anything relevant. Especially since because I have Marincess Battle Syndicate, I can also just chain block it too. So yeah, that's an oopsie on both our sides. Game should have definitely ended 2 turns earlier, but you know, the sloppy Yu-Gi-Oh! is entertaining Yu-Gi-Oh! So this is a game that perfectly illustrates why people need to get out the kitchen and stop cooking before they burn the whole place down. And we're gonna get maxing on blue tank. Okay, so this is a turn skip. Very balanced card. Thank you. Fortunately, we have 3 Handtraps in hand. So for those thinking, why don't you draw on Lockbirds so they only draw 1? Well, I need to search like at least twice during my turn in order to actually end on anything relevant. So and you're gonna get like 3 draws out of it anyway, so it's not worth it. So we just make a Sea Angel and then blue tank try to hit a name to get follow up. Obviously we miss because that's just what NBT does. And then we add blue die for follow up and set Infirm. Okay, so our opponent special summons Unicorn. I'm thinking great. Activate start Pendulum Graph. I'm like, huh? Alright, so anyways, I'm gonna draw their Pendulum deck. And that's gonna, as you'll see, first of all, it worked. Slash Mage is like literally the least important card in my extra deck. It's also not something you would use outside of turn 1. But because everything else is a 2 of, they just banished it. And I'm happier for it, because that Slash Mage would have done nothing. Now they're gonna use their scales, but they're not gonna be able to add anything. They're gonna go into this Beyond the Pendulum, and not be able to add anything. Activate Start Pendulum Graph, and not be able to add anything. Pendulum Summon 2, and then try to pop, which I'll Infirm because I'm gonna lose it anyways. And now they can't even kill me, because guess what? They can't add anything. And they're gonna use Kashtira Birth, which literally the only card I can use Bell against Kashtira, and sometimes it works out. They're gonna just attack, go for some damage lines, and really not be able to do anything because they can't add anything. Going to Appaloosa. Okay, so Appaloosa actually does not do anything to Marincess. I'm gonna Marincess Dive, summon back NBT, activate NBT's effect, and they're gonna negate it because they're gonna figure why not. Even if they negate it, I still can't run it over, right? The problem is that every body that it keeps on the field, Marincess is weak to removal. Against effect negation, Marincess, like, it literally does not affect Marincess, like, at all. It's like incredible how easily this deck plays through that. So now I'm gonna actually chain block Blue Slug with Blue Tank, and they're gonna negate my MBT, which I don't know why you would do that. I was just gonna miss anyway, and it's not like I hit off the Excavates. Now that's weak enough for me to run over, and I'm not satisfied with that. I don't just want to run over Appaloosa. I want to clear the whole board with Zealantis. So they're gonna Appaloosa once again the Mandarin. And now I revealed that I have yet another extender. First of all, you go with the Sea Angel. Sea Angel will add a Battle Ocean. Activate Battle Ocean. Go into Coral Anemone. Anemone will bring back NBT. And then go into Marbled Rock. Marble Rock. And Coral Anemone add back. Coral Anemone adds back Blue Tank. Marble Rock will add back Mandarin. Then I'll Silent Mining ditch the Mandarin and add Spring Girl. Spring Girl will banish Coral Anemone. Go into Great Bubble Reef. Equip, so it's huge. Then I'm gonna bring discard NBT, bring back Coral Anemone, go into Zealantis, right? Zealantis. And the logic behind this is I want to pop their birth. The only spell trap removal in Marincess is via World Sea Dragon Zealantis, actually. So you have to make it before your battle phase if you want to pop spell and traps. Which is why I have to do it this way. And I'm going to use the effect just to clear the Appaloosa, bring everything back, and then attack and clear their birth, clear their Star Pendulum Grabs, leave them on one scale versus a Zealantis and Coral Anemone for follow up. And they just they just had enough, and they're I don't think there's a top deck they could have done to get out of it. Maybe I mean it was Unicorn or Birth, I guess. Nothing else could have really done it. So I don't know why they scooped that early, because it definitely was not game. I don't know. Maybe they were afraid. Maybe they were tired of me comboing for 5-10 minutes on my turn, because unfortunately that's just what Marincess does. The Cybers deck, it takes a long time to go through your plays. A lot of it is just a lot of nothing and link climbing, but you know, it is what it is. Again, it's not really pretty dropping 3 or more hand traps on your opponent at once, but you know what? This format is not pretty. So you gotta do what you gotta do as a rogue deck such as Marincess. And you know, I didn't want to drop this deck completely. I played this during a Shizu tier format to Diamond 1 back then. That was highest rank at the time. So you can, if I can do it back then, you can definitely play this in cash format right now. It's viable.